Hey folks, Rick Dollar here with Net Radio Dogs Roadshow. We bring you the finest in bluegrass and Americana and entertainment, we like to think. So today we're sitting down with the man himself, Killer Beaz. Killer, what's up?
Hey Rick, how you doing, buddy?
I have had my coffee.
Well, bless your heart, my friend. Well, it's a good day. It's a good day down here in Mobile County, Alabama.
I heard that.
At Falling Value subdivision where I live. So,
oh my God, you ain't gonna wait. You're just gonna go straight into it, aren't you?
Well, that's just me. I'm having a beautiful day. We had to rename the subdivision. That it's listed on the Alabama state maps, Rick, but they spell it floodplain on the map. So we call it Falling Values.
Falling Values. Straight from Falling Values subdivision. Man, that's a great intro, Now, I want to talk about something before we get into anything else. And you and I have quite a little of the list here to jump up into. But Killer Beaz is going to we're going to make a huge announcement here, and we might as well do it now. Killer Beaz is going to be giving us the stinger of the week. And that's going to be some comedy routines that are going to hit the show in the first segment every week of the show. I'm pretty happy about that. How about you, brother?
Dude, I'm pumped up, man. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It's going to seem like personally, I remember you when you were with John Boy and Billy on the Big Show a long time ago. And how long has that been, man?
Man, those guys, they were excellent, and still to this day are great allies for well over 30 years, nearly 40 years now.
Wow.
They helped me and James Gregory and Tim Wilson.
Yeah, poor Tim.
A couple of others for years and years and years, and they're really good people, man. And they're like us. They're our kind of folks,
Oh yeah.
So they're not artsy fartsy and
all that stuff.
Highbrow, they're regular old people, man, and they are just like you would hear them on the radio, man. Their personalities are exactly like that. So that's what I like about them. That's what I like about you too, man. You're just like this. If you're Ubering somewhere or if you're in a lineup at the police station.
Exactly. So I'm just me.
Or you're dumpster diving,
Oh my God. All right, let's get to what we got to talk to here. I love you, man, but you can get me started. Let me tell you. Hey, the first thing we want to talk about is here lately, and you'll have to elaborate on this just, a little bit here, is you've been seen quite a lot around the Grand Ole Opry. You want to go over that with me?
Yeah, man, that's been a pretty neat thing. This past Friday, I did my 7th appearance on the Opry. I'm there kind of monthly, not exactly every month. My first appearance was in January, right before all the big lockdown for COVID. So they had to shut the Opry down. We had just started it then. So about a year later, they finally got cranked back up, and they've offered us a gig there. It's pretty much monthly. So it was my 7th appearance on Friday night. And way back in old timey days when I was living in Nashville and working out of Zany's Comedy Club there, the Opry wouldn't put me on. Their concept then, their excuse, if you will, then was, well, if the people who come to the Opry go and see your nightclub act at Zany's, they might be offended. So they wouldn't put me on the Opry back then. And I came so close, dude, to recording an album and calling it Banned from the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh my God. Are you not glad that you did not do that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, so in retrospect, now I'm glad that I didn't do that, because they've finally gotten on board and have embraced me. And it is a lot of fun, dude. They sell out every show they do. And I've been blessed enough, man, that I've performed at both the Ryman and at the Opry House. They go back and forth from location to location seasonally. And so I've actually been lucky enough to do both venues. And so it is an absolute hoot to go out on stage in front of 3,000 people who, by the way, are from all corners of the United States and from foreign countries. It's like the Grand Ole Opry is like it's like a bucket list thing for people.
It is.
And so they come from all over the place, and it is the neatest, greatest audiences in the world, because they have invested time and monies to be there, and they want every performer on the show to do great, you know. So as far as me, just the setups or the premise to my bits get laughter from them. So they are incredibly they're incredibly supportive as an audience. So that makes it a really, really, really neat thing to do. So I get to work with some stellar performers on there.
Oh yeah.
And it is it's a, like I said, it's a great blessing to get to do that venue, because it is really it's a high profile, really, really top shelf gig to be able to do it. And it's an honor, you know. It's quite an honor to get to do that. So it's really, really neat.
Well, I'm glad you're so jacked about that, because I'm glad to see that you know, venues like the Ryman and you know, the Grand Ole Opry are finally figuring out that music is a big part of our lives, but there are other things that, you know, it reaches out and touches too, just like, you know, your comedy is. And that's why we have you on the show. And you know, it's just all fallen into place so far. But I do want to talk about your Moonshiners gig. Now, how long have you been on the Moonshiners on Discovery Channel?
Well, this is my my 6th season.
Wow.
It's season number 11 for the show. And it is the 6th season for me. And that show, dude, is an absolute hoot. It is crazy fun to do.
Oh yeah. I met Tim and I met Tickle a couple of times when we were doing interviews at Bristol Motor Speedway for NASCAR.
Gotcha.
And Tim's just a great guy. And of course, Tickle, I don't know if he remembers meeting me or not, though, but it was a few years back, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So, but it is such a great show, man. It's intriguing to me because and I quote, the covert distillation of non-taxed artisan spirits in a non-disclosed location is so intriguing, because there's so much chemistry and physics that goes into that process, man. I mean, these guys, I work with the guys Mark and Digger, who in my opinion are the best ones on the entire show.
Oh yeah.
And they are true to life hill people. They you know, they are hillbillies, if you will, but they are absolute geniuses.
They are.
And I like Mark and Digger because they're professional people. They're smart. They're have a lot of esteem in their communities. They're active in their churches, and they're active with helping charities and stuff. And they're just really, really good people. And they're just top notch, other, I guess, than that whole flirting with federal offenses.
that seems to come into play there sometimes, but hey.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, just the things they have taught me in my 6 years on the show is amazing. People would pay thousands and thousands of dollars and offer that to them constantly to teach them the art of distillation. And so it is really, really once again, man, I'm going to use the word blessing a lot,
Yeah, that's
throughout
fine.
the next years that we're together, because that truly is where I'm at, man. It is such a blessing to have these gigs and these outlets to communicate with people. So they are really, really neat, man. And the cool thing about the show, I don't get a lot of episodes. I'm not one of the big players on the show, really, but I played the character of Killer Beaz comedian. So
how did you get that done?
Yeah, no, man. So it's not much of a stretch for me. All I have to do is show up and just be myself and learn from them and work with them. So
That's
it is really, really cool.
Man, that is awesome. And if any of our listeners don't watch Moonshiners, which I can't even fathom that thought, I bet they're going to start now, checking out you on Moonshiners. But
yeah, well, it's on Discovery Channel, and this season we're on Wednesday nights at 8:00 Eastern time,
and that's on the Discovery Channel.
Correct. And if you miss an episode, the very next week before the brand new episode airs, they air last week's episode. So I was on this past week, meaning that next week I'll be on again before the next episode. And if that's one of my episodes, then I'm on twice in one night.
Now, so, that's a double dip right there. Now, what season are we on now? In case somebody's just has streaming TV.
Yeah, this is season 11 now.
Season 11, okay.
Yeah, I came on board on season 6, and my role on the show is I go back and forth during the season from being a still hand and helping mash in and running a still with Mark and Digger. I do that, and I'm also a high-profile bootlegger.
Oh, really?
I have the Nashville territory because I used to live up there, and
that's a setup right there, buddy.
Correct, man. I've been in the showbiz industry there. I've been with Warner Brothers Records, Columbia Records. Did a bunch of CMT and TNN while I was there, so I know a lot of the big players in there. So I'm the bootlegger that does the multi-$1,000 deals with Mark and Digger. So that's kind of my niche right there. Is I'm the Nashville connection, and also
it kind of works out for you though.
Well, it does
in real life.
I already know the people, and there's a lot of high-profile artists and a lot of high-profile management type people that I get to deal with Mark and Digger's product, and so it's works really well for me and for them. As a matter of fact, my first season ever on the show, I made at that time the largest moonshine sale in the history of the show. It was a $30,000 delivery of gin that Mark and Digger made in the woods. And gin is a multi-stepped process and takes a long time to make it. So it was very high dollar. So I sold $30,000 worth of moonshine to a gentleman named Ed King, who early in his music career wrote the song Incense and Peppermints for the Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Yeah, I remember that.
And had a #1 hit when he was a teenager. And then later in life joined the Leonard Skinner band and co-wrote Sweet Home Alabama, plays all that guitar that you hear on Sweet Home Alabama. And I did many years with them. And he and I became friends back when I was doing some projects with the Skinner band. And so he was actually my first customer ever on the TV show Moonshiners. We went to his home in Nashville and did a deal for a $30,000 moonshine delivery, which we ended up delivering downtown on Printer's Alley to a blues bar that he had some affiliation with. So, so it's been a really neat thing for me to get to do. And plus it was cool to do it with Ed because we were dear friends.
Sure.
And he's recently passed away, but
yeah,
but that's one of the shining moments for me on Moonshiners, was
no
being
pun
able to
intended.
actually do it with Ed.
Well, I think that, when you can bring friends into what you're doing with that whole setup that you're doing with those guys, that's a win-win right there, man. And
Oh yeah, man. And I'll tell you something else, man. I did some projects with Skinner and stuff, and they throughout the years were buddies of mine. And the thing is, musicians, comedians, all your performing artists, Rick, what we have in common is we're communicators.
Sure.
Whether it be through music or spoken word or dance or painting.
Whatever.
I mean, artists,
yeah, that's right,
are communicators, and that's what we have in common. And we all know the struggle, so there's mutual respect. Even people whose music I'm not a fan of or whatever, I respect them because I know the struggle.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that the show business community has going for it, is that we all get it. And no matter who you are or what your genre is, we respect it, because in some way, shape, or form, we have all been there.
Yeah.
So,
I remember
that's the neat thing.
I remember the night that corporate called me from your division there, your corporate division, gave me a holler a few years ago to do something with you at Holston River Brewing in Bristol, Tennessee. And I thought, that was like I didn't know if I was going to do kind of thing, but she called me up again from the corporate office and said, you need to come down and do this. It's going to be fun. And you and I shot video all around this place, this distillery that was in downtown, or not in downtown, but in Bristol, Tennessee, right next to Bristol Motor Speedway.
Right.
We had a hoot and a holler, man. I still got video of that somewhere.
But that's fun, when you find somebody that you have rapport with.
Oh yeah.
That's a magic thing that you cannot fake. You can't pretend rapport.
No, that's true.
So we had fun. I remember that video. We tried to out stupid each other.
Yeah,
we raised the bar like nobody's business, son. So,
oh my gosh. Well, we did have some fun. There ain't no doubt about it. And the owner got in on the act too, and he was funnier than we were, I think.
I'm just gonna have to say no, he wasn't. Hey, and let me say this to everybody as well. Corporate, y'all, I am married to my manager, the wonderful lady that does my bookings and is the gatekeeper to Killer Beaz.
That's a good term.
Her nickname has become corporate. That's what we call her. The preacher in church calls her that. We did an outreach this past Sunday, and he goes, "Corporate, come up here and tell everybody what we're doing." So she is a big part of the Killer Beaz team.
Yeah, God bless
her. And she is just a hoot, y'all. She's blonde-headed, left-handed, keeps me in line, smart as a whip. So
hey, we need them. Let me tell you, I get sometimes I'll come up with an idea that's totally stupid, and honey, come here. What do you think about this? And she'll say, and if she walks off, it's over. You better forget that one.
It's funny how with a look or a sigh they can say the phrase totally stupid.
That's it. I mean, we've been married 19 years. I don't know how long you guys been married, but we've been married 19
31.
Well, there you go. I mean, when she says no, she means no.
Oh, I know it before she says it. Before she says the sentence, the look will be there, and I'm like, okay, well, let me abort this sentence.
That's right. Now, you've had a lot of different gigs, man, but you had a 911 ambulance gig. I want you to talk about that before we go, okay? If that's all right.
Man, Rick, when I've had a weird upbringing. When I was 10 years old, I went on the road as a competition pistol shooter. My mother was a national pistol shooting champion.
Oh my God.
And so so I was exposed to a lot of stuff early, but when I was 17 years old, I landed a gig in Jackson, Mississippi,
Your
running
hometown, by the way.
911 running 911 emergency ambulance calls. And
Oh
and
my
to
goodness.
my knowledge, I'm the youngest person in the state to ever do that gig. I was a senior in high school, Rick. And so I worked every other night and every other weekend and would be constantly late for school because I would be on a call at 7 a.m., and you're tied up at an accident scene or at a hospital or whatever.
Now, this is all
And
truthful,
so,
right? This is all the truth.
oh yeah.
Okay.
And so they had
I
waived.
just want to verify that.
Oh yeah, they had waived the tardy rule for me at school because they knew what I was doing, and it was an amazing thing to see the heroism of policemen and firefighters in Jackson, Mississippi. It was amazing, and just to see how people act under duress, Rick. We went on a call one time to the ritzy rich part of Jackson, in a neighborhood. Went to a home where the married couple were both physicians.
Okay.
They were having a dinner party at their home, and all the guests there were in the medical field. Well, either the husband or the wife, I don't recall which one. One of them's elderly dad who had heart issues was living with them, and that gentleman had a heart attack.
Whoa.
So we were dispatched. They dispatched my ambulance because we had what we called our crash kit, which is the defib unit.
Oh yeah.
And all that stuff you need
like you see on TV, where they
correct. So
gotcha.
We went to this house, and this was in the middle of the night, and they had it together. They knew exactly what to do. They had somebody standing out in front of the house with a flashlight that as soon as they saw our ambulance come into their neighborhood, they would flash this light at us. That way we didn't have to slowly ease down the street with a spotlight trying to read house numbers and stuff. So they had it together. So we get there and we take our stretcher out, and we're going into this big gigantic mansion of a home. And as we went down this big long hallway, I was 17, my partner was 18. We were the young guns.
Oh my gosh.
As we did the gnarly stuff. We were fearless because we were ignorant. But as we went down this hallway, Rick, the lights in the house dimmed down and came back up. And we looked at each other like, holy moly.
Yeah.
And so we get to the end of the hall, and we're making a turn into this big family type room, and the lights did it again. And so as we continued our U-turn into the area where the gentleman was on the floor with the heart attack, we got to the people, and Rick, these folks that lived there, in order to try to save this man's life, had pulled the cord out of a lamp and had split the wires and wrapped them around spoons and had them taped to his chest with Band-Aids, and they were plugging him in and out of the wall socket.
Oh my God. Are you lying?
No, I'm 100% serious.
Holy
and they
crap,
were doing that
dude.
to try to defibrillate his heart. And which to me, 17 years old, was seeing this. I can remember just how incredibly impressed I was with the way these people thought under pressure, and the fact that they had come up with that idea.
That's crazy, dude.
They were not able to save him. We were not able to get the man back because, and I'm not an electrician, and there's people listening, I'm sure that could steer me correctly on this. I don't know the difference in amps and watts, but one of them was not strong enough to compress that heart tight enough for it to rebound to try to get it beating again.
Wow.
But that is one of the most vivid memories from that ambulance gig that I still have in my memory banks, was just how incredibly impressed I was that they had tried to resuscitate that gentleman like that.
Oh,
and we weren't able to get him back, and they finally called it. That's when you realize that we can't do it anymore. When they finally called it, everybody quit working, and we just kind of stood back there for a minute. And all we could hear, and I remember this my whole life, all we could hear was the hiss from our oxygen tank, from that, and then the big grandfather clock in their den started chiming while we were all standing there. And that was one of the most moving and memorable, I guess I'll say again, things that happened during that gig with the ambulance stuff. There's a few more that were right on up there, but that is one of the most vivid memories of how these people tried to save that guy. So,
man, that's scary, dude.
Well,
that you heard the grandfather clock, and you know what I'm saying? All of that timed the way it got timed. Wow.
Yeah. So that was that was something that I've remembered vividly, and that's been, oh my gosh, 50 years ago.
Man, that's incredible.
So
that's amazing. I tell you what, though, I think what we've covered today is a not even scratching the surface, because, first of all, we're going to have the Killer Beaz Stinger of the Week on Net Radio Dogs Roadshow in the first segment of every show starting in the new year. You've got a bunch of things we can cover here, brother, from Moonshiners, the Grand Ole Opry, Leonard Skinnard, your time on TNN and CMT, and other things that have happened to you with your career, so to speak, in comedy. And it sounds like you've covered the gamut a lot of times. And so we're honored to have you on our show. No doubt about it.
Oh, dude, I'm honored. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I like getting the story out, and I like telling people about things I've experienced.
Sure.
And there'll be some do's and don'ts in there. Trust me.
I'm sure. I've already listened to some of the bits, man, and that was pretty good.
Well, I'm in my 40th year of doing stand-up professionally, and I have so much fun with it. And it's a pretty deep well that we're pulling from.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Well, dude, I appreciate you so much for taking the time. You are a very busy man these days, and we're honored to have you on our show. And I'm honored just to call you a friend,
Well, I love you, brother, and I appreciate it, dude.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, we're going to have all kinds of fun. No doubt about it. That's the Killer Beaz Stinger of the Week. That's going to be on Net Radio Dogs Roadshow in the new year. And I'm with my buddy Killer. Killer, you got anything else you need to put out there today?
Yeah, quit asking me for moonshine on Facebook.
I heard that. Well, dude, I love you, and we'll be talking to you soon. How's that?
Love you, brother. Talk to you soon.
See you now.